The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management. It's time for Where You Live with Gene and Tony, the show that's all about owning, buying, selling, renting, and association management. If it involves a home, we'll talk about it. Here's your chance to get your homeowner questions answered. From the Natural Lawn and Landscape Studios, here's Gene and Tony.
Needed the shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and
Good
downs,
morning. Welcome to
and
Where You
there
Live with
you
Gene and
were.
Tony. I'm Gene Sullivan.
And I'm Tony Crockett. How are you doing, Gene?
I'm doing well. And we also want to say hello this morning to our board op. We have Christopher Wyatt Earp, Huberty, the fastest fingers in the West.
You know what I've noticed this week? It sure is hard to work up a case of spring fever.
It really is.
Isn't it?
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm going back and forth in either a love or hate for Puxtatawny Phil.
That's right.
One week we get teased with sun. The next week we
Oh
get
my gosh.
dumped with more snow.
Yeah, that darn groundhog.
Where is this spring?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, folks, what we do know is that for the next hour, we're certainly glad to have you with us. If you're just joining us, we are broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. And we want you to remember that Natural Green is a locally owned and operated lawn and landscape care company. Their mission, to use the most environmentally sensitive products available to keep your lawn and landscape looking lush and beautiful while still healthy for people and pets. Give them a call, see what they can do for you today. Their number, 763-213-2410. And, of course, we're also brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. Well, we've got a lot that we're going to be talking about in the state of Virginia. The state legislature there is trying to determine what is considered the unauthorized practice of law. We're going to deal with that in just a moment. And we will be then turning our attention down to South Carolina. I don't know if you all heard about this story, but a gentleman was a golfer and went to pick up his ball, but was grabbed by an alligator.
Ew.
And the
Yeah.
alligator ended up, unfortunately, taking off his arm before he was able to get away.
Good Lord.
But there's a lawsuit because he says this is now the fault of both the golf course and the homeowners association.
Oh, I thought maybe that alligator had some assets that they were after.
Yeah, well, we'll find out in the story as we get in. But let's, without further ado, begin with property management in the news. Property management in the news is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. Now, if you wish to avail yourself of special pricing and discounts you won't find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners can call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson at 952-224-2663. That number again, 952-224-2663, and ask for your Where You Live with Gene and Tony special pricing. Well, our first story is out of the state of Virginia. There was a blog written by a law firm of Tarlene Robinson dealing with this issue that Virginia is now dealing with on what is considered the unauthorized practice of law. Now, Tony, we've seen this before. I think it was about a year ago. It was in Florida, I want to say, that there were a number of law firms that started a class action lawsuit against 29 property management firms for what they thought was
The unauthorized practice of law. And this blog, too, is discussing unauthorized practice of law in terms of a property management company advising its community association. So, I mean, that's a pretty broad term, unauthorized practice of law. It's interesting that they're targeting property management companies, isn't it?
Well, in this whole discussion here, I guess I was thinking on my way here to the studio, what we're talking about is the war of words, and whoever seems to be able to win the war on words, and what we're talking about is rhetoric, they seem to win the battle. And and I think that's what that's even what is behind what we call PC, or politically correct. Mm-hmm. It's nothing more than someone saying the word we use to describe or to talk about this certain thing or this certain behavior now is no longer acceptable. Yeah. And so now we're going to call it this. And every time someone does it, they are trying to, I think, in that discussion, in that disagreement, try to frame the discussion. And if you can be the first to frame the discussion and be the first to frame how things are described, I think you win.
Yeah, and good point.
And so, we could take a look at this. Are we talking about what is considered the unauthorized practice of law? Because you hear that. Unauthorized practice of law? Ooh, that sounds bad. That sounds like someone...
Well, especially when the lawyers explain it to you. It sounds very bad.
But how about if I were to call this an issue dealing with whether or not property management companies can fill out forms in order to save their client money?
Right. That's right. Our clients would appreciate that, I think.
Yes.
If it's a simple matter of filling out a form, which they're actually saying in this case that some forms can only be completed by an attorney, specifically liens, filing a lien against a homeowner. And I think they mentioned power of attorney as well later in the article. But this is a blog written by attorneys.
Yes.
And they really are pushing to have Virginia pass more statute prohibiting people from doing things like filling out legal forms or advising their clients on legal issues.
Yeah.
What do you think a defense is for a property management company? What do we do, and why should we be doing it?
Oh, I want to get into that and just
I kind of opened the big subject
a little bit here, but
okay.
I would like to begin by saying that what a difference a little bit of context makes.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. In this whole discussion and with the state statute, they do seem to describe that if you are a landlord and you own property and you have someone who is an employee who is working for you, to fill out these same forms is not considered an unauthorized practice of law.
Okay.
Because I think the idea is that, you know what, if this is your property and you're directing your own employee with what you're doing, hey, you're a big boy, you're a big girl, you know what you're doing, and so you don't need any help.
Okay.
Now, you take that same person who's a landlord with the same ideas, same knowledge, now put them as a board member of a homeowners association.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, according to Virginia state statute, they can't do that anymore.
They can't direct their property manager to fill out this form.
Because now you've gone from the place of being the wolf to being the sheep.
Well, it's interesting because it also describes the difference between a client and agent relationship. It's not allowed in a client-agent relationship, but it is allowed in an employer-employee relationship.
That's right.
You can direct your employee to fill out legal documents for you, but a board member cannot direct their licensed agent to fill out those same forms for them.
Yes.
Right?
And to me, it seems, I think what we need to take a look at here is you need to take a look at who is driving and lobbying for these changes in laws. Now, if we were talking about consumers, are these people in homeowner associations who are going before the legislature asking for this change?
Because let's say I was deluded or I was tricked and I didn't realize my agent was practicing unauthorized practice of law, and they fooled me, and I was harmed by it.
But instead,
it's not that.
No, we're seeing that this is being driven by attorneys.
Right.
Attorneys who would have what I would consider a conflict of interest, maybe, perhaps.
They certainly have a vested interest in how this argument comes out.
To me, this is like the fox saying to the farmer, boss man, don't worry, we've got the hen house covered. You don't have to worry. Hey, we're going to talk about what these little foxes in Virginia want to do, but after these messages.